Welcome back to the pod. Today we are joined by Abe Diaz, creator of Substats. Abe is doing some really cool work with the PGF, providing cutting edge analysis for their tournament series. We had an awesome conversation about the work he's doing for them, the challenges of evaluating athlete strength across rule sets, and the role of AI in data analytics. We hope you will enjoy this conversation. All right, I'm joined today by Abe from Substats. Abe, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man? How are you? Doing great.
Doing well, bro. You are known as the Data Strangler, working heavily with the PGF. Can you just tell me a little bit about like how you got into that role and your background in grappling and stats?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for having me on today, man. I've been
Of
following you
course.
guys and Submission Sensei for a while now, and super awesome what you guys are doing. Super like incredible. Like respond, get a gift, ask question, get a gift.
Yeah, yeah.
So how I got into the PGF, honestly, like I've been like full steam at like I just been going since like Thanksgiving. So like on Thanksgiving, I saw Brandon like my one of my posts, and I took a screenshot. I was like, oh snap, Brandon McCaffrey's following me, and then he messaged me. He was like, yo, what's up, man? Here's my data, for the PGF leaderboard. Kind of like do something with it. So then from that point on, I was like talking to me and my dev, and we are just like providing like reports, doing some different types of analyses. And then we actually talked for like 10 minutes on Thanksgiving. And then he told me about Google anti gravity. Then I was like, all right, here's Google anti gravity. And then I started messing with that. Then I got connected with Egghead, who hosts the Egghead Scrambles podcast.
Right.
He was the old stats guy for the PGF, but then he has since moved into the ownership role for the Colorado Wolverines. And then it was just like, he's a Marine, I'm a Marine. So we kind of have like that brotherhood connection right there. And I'm a Power BI developer in Las Vegas, the last one. I handed out like stat sheets, like grappler cards. And then, before I got there, everyone was like, oh, this is the PGF stats guy, the new stats guy. I've been doing weekly episodes with Egghead. And then I met Brandon and he asked me, he's like, hey, you're going to be the stats guy this season. And I was like, absolutely. And take it from there. So, yeah, that's long story short. That's how I got involved.
Yeah, man, and you've done some super cool work. I think just showing the evolution of the PGF through the seasons. So just like a couple things to point out is right, the finish rate's gone way up, and it's gotten real um, leg attack heavy, right? Like the breaks are coming to that. I'm just curious with as a guy with like a stats background, like what do you attribute that to? Like what is it about? Because we know the jujitsu is evolving, but it's we've really seen in a short period of time the sort of meta of this competition sort of change. Like what do you sort of chalk that up to?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just like that whole leg lock meta shift in the community. Um, I guess around so like season 1 and 2 were really high. Then like for a couple of seasons it went down, and the lowest season was like 25% finish rate. And I'd say that's when the leg lock started becoming really heavy, and the puts an emphasis on finishing fast.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a lot harder to get a kill, so to strangle someone in under a minute, very hard, no matter who you're going against to. But it's a lot easier. Not to say it's easier, but you can get into someone's legs quicker. And if you're just quicker than them or at better than leg lock offense than they are defense, then you get a quick break and move on. So I think that's a lot of the driver too. Like rule set, leg locks being heavy in the community as a whole. So yeah,
Yeah, no, for
that'd be my estimation.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's sort of interesting to watch how um, everyone's sort of evolving to the rule set, right? I mean, you see it in every. I mean, you see it in grappling and generally, like you see it in we've all watched it happen in like MMA, right? Like all the one guy starts landing calf kicks, and then 3 years later, like calf kicking is like the new meta on the feet, right? So, how do you see this like playing out like relative to like other rule sets, right? Like, what is it about PGF that is sort of driving this sort of aggression, right? Is it like the sub only? Is it like the way they're doing the points, the draft? Like, well, how do you evaluate that?
Definitely sub only, and a lot of people. There's a lot of discourse about sub only points, this and that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for how the PGF's doing it, like sub only is the way to go, and and they put a lot of emphasis is on the shot clock. Like if
Right. Yeah.
someone's not being aggressive, you got 20 seconds to someone do something, right?
Yeah.
And the overall incentive is just like it's an individual sport, but you're competing on a team, and you want to score points for your team.
Mm-hmm.
What's the fastest way I can score points? If I'm a leg locker, I'm running for your legs, and
Yeah.
then I'm in and out. I'm in and out of the mats, putting points on the board for my team. So I think that that's a big part of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we've seen like with this sort of emergence of new formats, right? Like you saw like CGI and then you saw CGI 2 and you see all these guys kind of playing it really safe, right? I mean, like all respect to the competitors, but there were a lot of guys who weren't really going after it. And it seemed like in that context, people were really afraid of like messing it up for their team. Maybe. I mean, I don't know what exactly to chalk it up to, but it seemed like people were kind of happy to just get out of there with the draw more. And then like with the PGF, you're seeing guys going really out there trying to put up points on the board for their team. So I think that's super interesting.
Yeah, and like CGI too, like definitely the first one was, for the fans, I think it was that format was, a lot more entertaining.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, I'm not dogging it at all. I mean, I still watch it the whole, I still analyze it. I think there just wasn't enough like emphasis to get the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm sure like, Craig or whoever, like, push the grapplers to get the finish, but like that rule set in the structure, uh, like you said, I feel like a lot of guys just maybe played a little bit more on the safe side, and they didn't have like the incentive. Like if I score fast, I get points for my team. If I don't score fast, then it goes to a draw. Then what? It's that's fine. Leave it up to the next guy.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. And you've done a lot of cool work in sort of assessing value for the draft. Like that was I thought a really cool series. Can you just talk a little bit about like how you went about that? Like how you sort of assess the skills, the value of the competitors, and pair that against their sort of market value.
Yeah, yeah. So the market value. So I actually like learned. I'm learning a lot of like lessons. So working as a data guy, like day job, I do build a lot of financial reports,
Right.
dashboards, Power BI, Excel, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't have intangibles, right? Like qualitative data. But sports, I didn't really coming into it. I didn't really think about that as much. Like for example, like Kyle Chambers, he competed at a like over 200 pounds, and that has a factor if you're naturally like a 170 guy, right? So I wasn't like thinking about that, or it was hard to quantify in my analysis. So definitely made some mistakes or learned some lessons going into next season. I'm going to just focus a lot more on PGF data.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially what I did was I had like a score generated for them, right? And then their market value. So let's say like their Austin Rande.
Right.
Uh, his season ceilings I projected based on his qualifiers was 64 points. That's what he'll get for the whole season.
Oh, I see. So
So
you're basing it on like a points
on that,
projection. Yeah.
times 100. So 64 points times 100, 6,400. That's the market value that I put at. Is it wrong? Is it right? It's kind of it's kind of hard to really say what's wrong and right, assessing value to someone. But
Mm-hmm.
that's just what I did this going season, and he went. I had him at 6,400, and I think he went for 5,400.
Mm-hmm.
So like the Kings essentially saved $1,000, but he was the number two overall pick. But he got the Kings paid the most for him.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's just like, well, does that make him the overall number one pick? I would say so, but
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it depends how you want to look at it for sure. So you're basically generating a points projection for the guys and then sort of matching that to a dollar value, right? Like basically being like points are worth this many dollars.
yeah, so like he was projected 64 points for the season across all 5 weeks, times that 64 by 100, and that's how much his projected value is.
Yeah.
And I did that for everyone. Like if you projected 30 points for the season times 100, that's 3,000.
Yeah. No, I mean that's super interesting, and there's a lot of like discourse in the community about with all the belts and the rankings and how they do competitions and different schools of thought, and I've heard a lot of sort of strong interest in creating like an elo system, like is used in chess, like is used in like even like video games, right? To match people in terms of like tiers and stuff. Is that something that you've worked with at all or been interested in? I know that's something Brandon is interested in.
Yeah, so like for substats, so I'm developing like a scoring engine, and our baseline score for my scoring engine is 1500,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's going to go up or down depending on like how someone does in their history of matches.
Yeah.
So like any data that I get from Smooth Comp or wherever, I load that into the system, and it picks up everyone's name and it takes your entire history, and then it provides you a score that way. For the PGF, that Brandon already has it locked in with the XP score, so I'm not really touching it like that because it's already set in stone.
Right.
I'll do like a substats rating.
Mm-hmm.
I'll formulate it another way just to have like a substat score. But for the fans, everyone out there, the PGF XP score that Brandon made, that's like that's gospel. That's
Yeah.
it. So anything else I develop is just for me on my end, just maybe to come up with other interesting data points.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you feel like I feel like it's super important to have that like robust body of data to work with, right? Like if you're, if you get 10 people and they all play like 3 games of chess, right? You're not going to have the most accurate sort of, elo scores, right? There's going to be a huge variation, but like being able to get into the smooth comp data that's really going to help like, strengthen the whole system.
Right. Yeah. It's just like for sports in general, grappling. The more data you have, it's the better, right? Because if someone like, for example, someone has 10 matches and they won all 10, but someone has like let's say they won 10 matches by points.
Mm.
Someone has like a 6-2 record, but they won their matches all by sub.
Yeah,
Who's
that's interesting. How do you
yeah.
evaluate? Do you weight heavily on finishes when you're creating these scores?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's so and
You
like
have to
now
with the
it's
PGF, right? Like
yeah.
because of the nature of the point system.
Yeah, like my previous set of analysis that I finished up last week, I noticed that I didn't have a certain, so I have like the master data set from Brandon of all the PGF history, and I didn't exclude like the opens and the federation events. So, and someone pointed it out. It's like, well, including those isn't really like PGF season whatever.
Hmm.
So now I've like filtered out. So it's like the only events I'm including that's straight up PGF for me is opens, qualifiers. I'm sorry, not qualifiers, regular season, and playoffs. Um, so it's just that data, like that filtered that way, is going to be like my core analysis of like what I'm looking for or what I'm going to be looking at.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. And like feel like a lot of people in the community, I mean, I kind of shudder, right? Like I'm not great. Like I kind of shudder to think of what my elo would be, but like expanding that to whatever IBJJF, ADCC, I mean, there's just a lot of people complaining a lot of times about the belts and debate the belt systems and whatever. And I can't speak for anyone but myself, but I think if I was like a serious competitor, I would kind of prefer to be matched by like elo or something more like quantitative rather than running the risk of running into you run into like a D1 wrestler with 5 years of experience. It's like, okay, well, we're both blue belts, right? You know what I mean? Even though this guy's like an absolute killer, I just feel like it'd be more fair.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm thinking about too. Like when I went to the Vegas qualifier, the owner of the Kings asked me a question about how am I doing quality of opposition, and
Hmm.
it's a great question, and it's like a super difficult one to have or to try to figure out because like there's nothing stopping Bob, accountant, father of three, from doing trials, from
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
MAGA,
that's
from
right.
doing qualifier, from
Yeah,
doing IBJJF. So he can do. I mean, he's got to win to get into like the pro events,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But there's nothing stopping him from doing all that, right? So, and it's just like, who am I to just like rank a competition? That's
yeah.
like right now, like next season, like PGF is the only thing I'm going to consider because that's like the PGF data. But
Right.
like as a whole for substats, like when I'm doing other events or analysis for other people, it's just like like man, it's like is ADCC more than IBJJF this competition? It's just like, I mean, that's just me giving an opinion. That's my opinion, or like have coding it in that way. But is it right? Is it fair?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
I
like
don't know.
chess gives you different. It breaks down by time format, right? So you have, with UFCF, you have a blitz rating, you have a bullet rating, you have a rapid rating, and a classical rating, right? Which is like the sort of the main one. But like they're able to break down by event type, right? And it's like in jujitsu, it's like an open question, right? It's like, okay, you did okay under this rule set, but if you're really good in the IBJJF rule set, right? Like, does that all go into one score?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, like, who am I or anyone to say, right? I mean,
Right.
like, organizations are going to be biased, and as they should be, right? But it's just like I don't. Yeah, it's a hard thing to figure out, but not impossible. But I think you just gotta go with just gotta be like, all right, this is going to be these events are going to be weighted like this, and you can always iterate and go from there. You're not stuck in your first set of
Yeah, man, that's
solutions. You
just
know what I
that's
mean?
such a fascinating challenge, for you to sort of work through.
Yeah, and it's new. Like I'm not a sports ball guy, so like I'm
Hmm.
not like I tried baseball once. I got hit in the face with a pitching
Yeah.
by the pitching machine. I
Oh yeah.
quit. I tried football in high school, too small as a freshman. I didn't
Hmm.
play. And then like I got into wrestling like my sophomore year, and I loved it for 2 years. And I was like, man, I wish I would have did this more. So I can get excited about sport stats for sports with jujitsu,
Yeah.
100%. Like I'm obsessed with it. Like how other guys do like fantasy football or golf or anything like that. It's like that for me, but for jujitsu.
Yeah, man, and it's so awesome to see like what you've done, just adding that element too for like the fans too. You know what I mean? Like it's for me, and I think a lot of other people, like sports is so much more enjoyable with some like context, right? You know what I mean? Like just knowing, like what you said, what was it, Jaden Groner? I think was your kind of like steal of the draft, right? And it's like
Uh,
just knowing that's a great storyline, right? Like we saw him in Philly. He's a 19-year-old kid, right? He's kind of just bursting onto the scene, and like that's something that makes you so much more excited to like see his match. You know what I mean? Like, all right, this kid's a hot up and comer. He's been slept on. Let's see what he can do, right? Like
yeah,
just that sentence alone, right, gets you invested in the event.
yeah, and Egghead was like I haven't known him that long, but like I was watching the draft and I was like, man, he's on something tonight.
Yeah.
Like he saved over like 50% value on him, and like
Yeah.
I've seen Jaden in like subspectrum analysis.
Hmm.
They're another event that I follow and I analyze, and I seen him do good there, and I was just like, yeah, he's gonna win the Philly qualifier. Like I
Yeah.
almost like stopped my analysis when I saw his name
Yeah.
in the registered
Yeah.
competitors because like this dude's gonna win.
That's your
And then
analysis. Jaden wins. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much right. But I did see him at another organization. Like he's signed up for a match in May in later this summer. I don't want to name the organization, but like his matchup, it's just like it's not going to be an exciting matchup because he's just going to steamroll the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to degrade or anything, you know what I mean?
No,
But
of course. Yeah.
it's just like the matchup. I Something I want to get into. I have for substats as well as like predictive matchmaking.
Hmm.
So my friend in Minnesota, he runs super fights events up there. So for his last event, I did all the predictive matchmaking for him because one of his things was just like I don't want to like just talk about just matches like people talking. It's like I want to use data to figure out which the best matchups are. And I feel like a lot of or like when I saw Jaden's like upcoming match, I was like, man, this is a total mismatch.
Yeah.
If that organization had like some matchmaking structure, like use data behind it, maybe they're just not there yet. They could have match them up with someone that's be more exciting match.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think that's something that's could be a super valuable tool for event promoters, right? Is because they don't, they're working with limited data, so they have, I'm sure, all kinds of constraints and demands on them to try to put a card together. But like you're giving them, you could potentially be giving them like the tools to be like, hey, you want good competitive matches, like here's some guys who are sort of similar strength.
Yeah, so for my friend's event, I could, based on the historical data I have and the new registrants, out of 25 matches, I can only predict 16 because the data set I had,
Hmm.
and it was about 50% like predictions were correct.
Yeah.
And that's valuable for the future, right? It's just like, these matches were good, and some of the predictions went this way. I mean, it's a prediction, right? It can go, you never,
No,
Never
of
know
course,
what's going to
yeah,
happen, but it's still like a good something to talk about. You know, it's
yeah,
good content, it's good storyline, and like Brandon's big thing is like stories. Like
absolutely.
after the qualifier, we had a talk, and he gave me like, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for." And the biggest takeaway was storylines because people like it's not just like you don't just want to like push jujitsu products to jujitsu people.
Hmm.
You want to make it interesting for everyone. Like
Of course, yeah.
someone that will never train, they like stats, they like fantasy stuff, they could get into jujitsu, or at least like the data part of it or the storylines, because stories sell.
Yeah,
You
for sure. And I feel like that's like the underappreciated role of the data analyst too, right? Is like there's you have to be able to match the data you're getting to a story and a narrative that helps people make sense of that data, right? And I think that's where a lot of people can sort of struggle or something, right? Like you have the quantitative skills, but like being able to say that's what this means, right? Like, I have a poli sci background, and like polling's a huge thing, right? And it's like, well, you can tell someone that their numbers have gone down, but like and you can tell someone that this issue is polling this way or that way, but like you have to be able to construct like a narrative to help help people make sense of this data. Otherwise, you've just sort of created numbers, you know.
Yeah. Are there a lot of like qualitative things you have to consider with polling? I don't know anything about it, but like for me, like my struggle is like I have to consider qualitative factors that like I just like I can't just like for sports, you can't just look at the numbers. You have to look at like technical analysis of the
Mm-hmm.
individual, the
Yeah.
situation, not just numbers, because like you're gonna miss a lot, and it's gonna like if you just use numbers and you don't have anything intangible that can give you more context, your numbers can potentially be skewed
Yeah.
or tell the wrong story.
For sure, yeah, and I mean, there's certain like key context factors, right? So like something like with like not to get super political, but like Trump in particular, there's this persistent what's called social desirability bias, right? So people will be people will be less likely to voice their support for him than is sort of what is revealed in the actual elections, right? So you have to sort of index against that, and you have to for any context you have to think about like is there a way in which the interview or the pollster is being presented that might make someone give you an answer that is not accurate. So so there's certain like things like that for sure.
Yeah, and like survey, I'm just like probably similar thing with like survey data. Like I don't mess with survey data, but I'm sure that's just like a mess of
Oh yeah.
dirty data and like terrible logic that you got to try to parse
Oh
through.
yeah,
And
for sure. And
yeah,
depending on the God, I forget the name of it, but there's like depending on the question, it's like a non-zero number of people will sort of give you an erroneous answer, like just cause, right? So like if you're talking about something like if you're talking about something that's sort of like unlikely or whatever, if someone it's like if 1% of people just give you the wrong answer, then all of a sudden you're reporting a massive skewing. Like, did you commit X crime last week or something? And it's like, the real number might be 0.2% of people did it, right? But if just 1% of the people are trolling you or don't understand the question or what have you, then you're going to report, a 5x incidence of this sort of rate than is what is actually accurate.
yeah, and if someone survey, you see they just fill out all like neutral for everything. It's just
Yeah,
like they
exactly.
didn't
Yeah,
like. Do you even really count this? Because like
yeah,
they didn't even really like try or give
yeah.
effort to, you know.
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely more of an art to constructing surveys and polls and analysis than people might think. Like you do have to there is room for like sort of judgment and interpretation.
Absolutely.
Cool, man. And I know you're looking at some like AI type stuff for your products. I mean, we're an AI driven company. I'm very curious your thoughts on sort of like what AI means for the future of just sort of the field of data analysis in general.
Man, honestly, it's hard to keep up. Like
Yeah.
like every day, it's just like I see something new, like, and it's just I don't know what's going. My wife's crawling on the floor, so she doesn't have to be seen. It's okay.
Okay.
We just move.
Okay. She almost made it.
Yeah, I probably should have just not said anything. Yeah, so AI. So, dude, like honestly, like so, I was using anti gravity for a while after Brandon told me to check it out,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I'm just like all Claude code right
Yeah.
now. And it's just like I feel like I'm not using it the best that I could. But what I think it means for the future. Do I think it's gonna take people's jobs away? I don't know. It's 50-50. Who knows, right?
Right.
But do I think like if you use it effectively and you understand it, yeah, like you shouldn't worry about losing your job or potential income. Like for example, for my day job, I use a Copilot that's connected to like an MCP for Power BI because that's what I mostly deliver.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm primarily what I work and deliver. So it's just increased my productivity. But the caveat is like someone new that wants to get in the data, I think kind of like something negative, it could be potential negative. It's just like someone's just like going in and just like, oh, I'm gonna use AI. But
Yeah.
it's just, do you understand like the syntax? Do you understand, can you read an error message?
Mm-hmm.
If you just like copy paste and keep feeding it, it's just like you're not really understanding and you're not really learning it. So I
Yeah.
think that has to be a potential drawback, but no, AI's here, it's getting better, and I think one day it's just going to be like there's going to be a entire AI company that's just agents, like
Yeah.
no people doing it, it's AI agents. So, what are your thoughts? So,
Oh yeah, man. I think it's kind of interesting because it almost puts an emphasis on that sort of narrative creation, that sort of storytelling and understanding versus the hard skills, right? You know what I mean? If anyone can just sort of pull up, Claude and dump an Excel spreadsheet in there and say, hey, run A/B testing on this, data set. They don't need to be competent in whatever like R or Stata or whatever. Have that background. They don't need to have even that stats background, but they do need to be able to understand the output, right? You know what I mean? Like, and there's, I feel like, I don't know how indicative of the whole marketplace, but I feel like there are companies and instances where people are very good at getting and harvesting data from their users, and they have these services that present it to them, but then they don't understand um, how to make that actionable or like understand like sort of what it means. And dude, I forget exactly who the quote was, but it was like a Moneyball type guy, and it was like statistics are like it's like a woman in a bikini or something. Like it shows you a lot, but it doesn't show you everything, right? So I feel like with AI, it's almost going to put that emphasis back on like soft analytical skills rather than just having the stats background and the programming background to be able to do the job.
yeah, it's like you like it's like hard skills versus soft skills, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like you said, anybody can throw spreadsheet and Claude, but like, can you communicate?
Yeah.
Can you communicate the findings to someone? Because you still have to deliver products, and like I think people are putting too much trust into AI and not checking. I saw like something out of Australia, like a McKinsey or one of those big consulting firms. They got sued for like almost $500,000 because someone like just used some AI and they printed out a PowerPoint and
Mm-hmm.
just sent that in. That's
Yeah.
just like there's gonna be a lot of people just doing that, and like I don't I don't like ever just send AI emails or like anything
Yeah.
like that because like I like fix my grammar of course, but
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm gonna personally write everything because like you still have to know, right? You
Yeah.
can't just like ship it off because someone's gonna ask a question, and if you just say, "Oh, Claude did it," like
Yeah,
that
no,
isn't
for sure. It's like, why am I paying you then?
yeah. Why am I paying?
Is Claude doing? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so like you still definitely like have to like you have to know what you're doing, right? Like you still have to like have basic data skills. Like if someone just came in and said, "I want to be a Power BI developer. I'm just going to use AI MCP." It's just like, well, like there's a lot more to it than you like. Yeah, it's gonna give you an answer, but like, is it right? Does it get your business logic? This thing
Sure.
makes mistakes. You have to always double check, and it's just like if ChatGPT and all the AI went away tomorrow, I'd be okay with like my Power Query skills, my DAX
Hmm.
skills, and always just go back to looking stuff up. So yeah,
Yeah, for sure. But I definitely think it's like anti-gravity, especially. It's like it can just like increase your just like your velocity and things, right? I think that's like the future of a lot of like product management and stuff is like people are always talking about like vibe coding versus like traditional. It's like, well, the vibe coding can like guide the traditional, right? Like you can use the vibe coding to create a framework, and then that gives you a basis for how you want to create the product.
I'm gonna ask like a dumb question. Like I haven't looked at like what does vibe coding even mean? Because it's just like I'm just like keep doing what I've always been doing.
Yeah. Uh, I do. I mean, I'm not really the person to ask, but it's like I don't have a coding background, right? And I literally, it's funny you mentioned BMAC. BMAC is the one who sort of pushed our founder to start looking at anti-gravity. And like vibe coding to me is just pulling up anti-gravity and being like, can you make this button red for me, please? Like, and then it'll either do it, or it'll tell you why it can't do that, or what you need to do to make that happen, and then you just sort of prompt in natural language rather than hard coding it yourself.
Yeah. So yes, like talk about speed of deployment. Like yesterday, so I'm having like my own substat scoring engine being made, but
Hmm.
then I had an idea. I was like, well, like I'm gonna have someone there that can help me at least virtually or in person, like keep stats.
Yeah.
So I was like, why don't I make like a live tracker, like another form of it? And I connected that to Super database, and then I published it to Versal, so it's live. And like I did that in like a couple hours, but I still can't get it perfect. And I just quit. It was like late last night. I was just like, we're just gonna do this tomorrow, man. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I gave you exactly what you need to do. We're not getting it. Let's just start again tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. But I also think it's like important to keep in mind too with the AI thing. Like people, it's like you see the trend and where it's going, right? And it's like 5 years from now, you're going to be able to make, like, for sure within 5 years, like, give it 10 years, right? Just be super generous. Like, yeah, in 10 years, you're going to be able to just like generate an app end to end with prompting. Like, if you're good at it and you understand what to ask it for. And like, that is going to be transformative, right? There's no way around it. I feel like sometimes people are like, they watch like a plane take off in 1903, and it's like, wow, this is crazy, this is going to transform warfare and the way we travel. And then in like 1905, they're like, I was told I'd be able to fly to London in 3 hours. Like, what's going on? It's like, yeah, can you give it a like, you gotta look at, like, where things are going, right? Like there's a lag between being able to predict where technology is going and it actually getting there.
It's just it's happening a lot faster. Do you
Yeah.
think there's a bubble, AI bubble, or it's just high? I mean, it's just
um
going so fast. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I'm not the person. I'm not really qualified to give a strong answer on that. I would just say sort of two things can be true, right? AI can be poised to take off in a way that's truly transformative, and Wall Street could have pumped too much cash into these companies that are then there's going to be, a psychological collapse in the perception of value, and then that can tank the economy. And that does not in any way, shape, or form mean that like AI is not going to be transformative, right? You know what I mean? Like that, there's any given company. It's a competitive marketplace, right? Like so, if you so Anthropic or OpenAI commits $1 trillion to spend on compute outlays in the next 5 years, and then their revenue just doesn't justify that. That company can collapse and take a lot of the economy down with it. But that in no way, that doesn't preclude AI researchers from making tremendous breakthroughs.
Yeah, no, no, I don't know either. It's like people talk about like there's is there a bubble, is there isn't. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna like just keep using it and see
Yeah,
what happens.
for sure, man. Yeah, we're just living in and no, dude, no one knows what's gonna happen. You know what I mean? Like, no one, if you knew what you was gonna happen, people are very confident with predictions, and it's like, dude, there's this thing called the stock market. There's Kalshi. I mean, if you can actually predict the future, there's no reason why you shouldn't be like stupendously rich by now. It's like, but you can't like open up a DraftKings account. You know what I mean? If you think you can predict the future, see how much money you make.
Yeah, I mean they're just using like super math and supercomputers and like geniuses,
Yeah,
and they're just really making calculated guesses,
yeah,
and they could be totally wrong, as it's been in the past. So yeah, who
yeah,
knows, right? That
exactly.
enjoy the ride, I say.
Yeah,
Just enjoy
no, and
the ride.
it's such a fascinating, like we're like the same age, and it's like I feel like we were born at like a really unique time, right? It's like we remember growing up as kids and like, you know, not being online all the time, not having a phone in our pockets, you know? Like if you wanted to go play with your friends, you'd have to go out and bang on their door, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that was the world we were born into.
dial
Um
up internet. You couldn't be on the phone.
yeah,
So
no,
right,
exactly.
someone couldn't be on the phone, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Just the wild, wild west early era, right, where we were like on MySpace and like torrenting crazy things on LimeWire, and it was just like a, well, you know, like a
Yeah,
the first iteration of like internet culture, and I think we're gonna live through some like truly mind-boggling transformations in society.
yeah. I mean, this stuff is like magic to me, man. I'm no like genius, right? But this is like if this was like people in like the 1800s thought magic was like this is what it is to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I read. Oh God, I forget. I keep forgetting the specifics of what I'm talking about. But I saw this video where they were like, they proposed this sort of like unit of time as being like the mind blowing interval, right? Like, what would it take to just how long would it take? You have to bring someone into the future to just completely shatter their little pea brain, right? And it's like the first one is like 100,000 years. It's like if you took like a hunter gatherer caveman and you like dropped him in the Colosseum in Rome, they would be like, "This is insane! Like this is insane, right? You've never seen more than 50 people together in your life, and now like you're watching people battle lions and tigers in a giant arena. You've been drinking wine. You'd be like, this is crazy." That was like 100,000 years, right? And it's like, you know, if you brought someone, then the next one's like 2,000 years, right? If you brought like an ancient Roman to like New York City in 1900 or something, they'd be like, "This is insane," right? And it's like,
Yeah.
if we, you know, took my great grandfather up and like, you know, zoomed him forward till now, you'd be like, "Dude, this is totally crazy." And like that interval of time it takes to achieve mind-boggling progress is sort of like exponentially decreasing, you know?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what type of AI the aliens have because this is probably like whatever we're doing is probably like kid stuff to them.
Yeah. The aliens are like they're finally getting it, dude. They're finally starting to figure some stuff out. Yeah.
It'll be fun. Hopefully they're cool.
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, I don't know, dude. Like it's yeah. Hopefully they're cool. I mean, they seem. I don't know. I feel like they could have taken us out. Like if you can figure out how to get yourself here in a way that's, you know, difficult to for us to detect. I mean, like surely you could have like zapped us all by now.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they don't have to one day.
Yeah, yeah. They're gonna. And I wonder what the final straw is gonna be for them. They're gonna see some like TikTok trend and be like, that's enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, TikTok.
Cool, man. So you want to just talk a little bit about like sort of like the services you offer athletes? I know you do like lot of
Yeah.
cool like analysis and stuff to help athletes.
Yeah. So let me start at the like beginning how I got to Substats.
Sure.
So to give some good context, so I got out of the Marines 2020. I now I my plan was go to school and work full time. So I enrolled to MBA program in finance at Nova Southeastern University. I thought I wanted to be a financial advisor, and then I realized it's going to be a lot of like selling
Yeah.
and stuff. And I was like, I did 3 years of recruiting for the Marines, and I was like, I don't want to sell a thing to anybody anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so in like one of my the first couple of weeks of my first semester, I learned about like data analytics and business intelligence, and I was like, what is this? This sounds cool. And then like I did like a veterans seminar from like Morgan Stanley. They were like talking about like Morgan Stanley stuff for veterans opportunity, and they had something about like wealth data analytics, and I was like, "Huh, this seems interesting." So I just started like diving in head first, like SQL, learning Python, which I didn't really stick that much. R. Then I started getting into Power BI heavy, and then like I just been all Power BI. I did some Tableau, did some other stuff too,
Hmm.
and then like about like 9 months after I got out, I put on some weight. I saw a picture of myself. I was like, "Oof, you need to get back in the gym, big dog."
Sure.
So I started training again. I just went to like the local, closest gym, and I started rolling. And I did my first competition a couple months later again after like 5 or 6 years of not being on the mat at all, and I just got hooked again. And then as I was learning data and getting back into jujitsu, I had the and like just watching like attending classes, I thought to myself like I want to be like really good, like not going to be ADCC champion or anything,
Hmm.
but I want to be just like really good where I'm at. And I didn't just want to be someone that just went to class, Um, roll, that's it. Rinse and repeat, you know. So I started taking my own notes, like how I did each class, who I rolled with, what we learned, and then I started was like, all right, let me start like analyzing data because like getting into data analytics, a big thing was like have a project portfolio, get a GitHub, get a Tableau public. Show your work that you're learning stuff. Like I had the excuse, like I was in school learning this thing, so I kind of like used that to my advantage as much as I could. And then I didn't just want to do like you know, my friend calls it fun with numbers, just
Hmm.
like the Titanic data set, build a sales dashboard or something. I was just like, well, why don't I just use my jujitsu data? So I started making my own project portfolios with that. I coded it up in SQL. This was all pre-HH, so I created like a database for myself, like DB Fiddle. Did visualizations. I did like a SQL jiu-jitsu project in R. I made reports, and then like when it was time for me to like go do interviews, I like showed live, like I shared my portfolio and it was like my jujitsu data. And like all the interviewers, recruiter there was like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah,
Like,
it's super cool.
yeah, it's different, right? Not saying it's like I didn't like create fire, but it was different than, because it was different because everyone was just showing, not every, everyone was just showing like pretty cookie cutter dashboards or
Hmm.
whatever they were showing. But I was showing like, hey, I'm learning SQL. This is my jujitsu data. And like, for one interview that got me a job, I was just like going over like, CTEs and subqueries with like with like one of the guys that brought me on to my first company. So I was like, man, this is cool. Like, and then I talked to my coach one day. Shout out to Drew, A&M Jiu-Jitsu, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, when I used to live back home there. I asked him because he's like a really, um, a forward-thinking guy. He's very entrepreneurial. And I asked him, I was like, hey man, what do you think about like this data thing and like jujitsu? Like he was like, you should do that. I was like, okay. So that's how Substats was born. Because I noticed at the time, what are people selling in jujitsu, right? Product, swag, grash guards, wipes, private lessons, instructionals. But I noticed that like at the time, no one was like analyzing people's jujitsu data.
Hmm.
So that's how it started. And so kind of take it to today, what I offered to individual grapplers, organizations. Right now, I'm going to be heavy in the PGF, still reach out. But like for the next weeks, I'm just like all PGF mode. But what I offer is like individual, grappler analysis, data analysis. Just like, I get your videos, I'll analyze the data for you. I have a grappler portal with a chatbot that you can like look at your PDF. Not You can look like your reports with charts and different visuals, and it kind of gives you a breakdown of how you did offensively, defensively, and then it gives you like a final recommendations on how to improve. And you can like chat with the chatbot there for more context details if you want. For organizations, like I said earlier, I'm doing like predictive matchmaking for organizations and just overall just general post event analysis, because like my goal is like I want to bring data analytics to the jiu-jitsu community. I want to help other grapplers like myself, well, people that aren't injured, well,
Yeah,
and if they're injured too, I guess that's fine, but I want to help people like use data to improve because like, and it's worked for me. It's like I know, like, because like it's like, what's the quote? If you don't manage it, you can't. Or if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. Right? It's just like
absolutely.
we spend a lot of time, right, in jujitsu, money. We put our bodies, at stake too. We get injured, and it's just like, why just not track and see how you're doing? So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do for individuals, organizations. I want to bring data analytics to jiu-jitsu. It's there, it's coming with you guys and other companies as well. But yeah.
Yeah, man, dude, that's super cool. What kind of things, like when an athlete uploads their videos or whatever, are you sort of getting into? Is it like time and position, or is it like, obviously the more data they give you, the more you can work with. But like, what are the sort of like key sort of metrics that you look at when they start giving you their data?
Yeah, so like so I'll look at a match. I'm analyzing it, and I'm looking at offense and defense, how they're doing, right? What's your rate of, your takedowns, your guard passes? Like, what are you encountering the most from
Hmm.
your matches that you're seeing? What are you doing the most, right? What's going on? What's your overall win rate, submissions? What are you mostly winning by?
Yeah.
How fast are you winning or losing? So just looking at, the entire match in its entirety, like what's going on from start to end, and cumulatively across however many matches, or how big the data set I have.
Yeah, no, and I think that might be I think people might have a worse idea of the problems they're running into than they think. You think it's like, okay, I it's intuitive, right? But it's like for me, I can say like with chess, right? Like I went in to my games database and I did like some analysis with the native like chess.com tool, but they were like of like my openings and like how I'm performing. And like to my shock, I was performing like terribly in my own opening as white, right? Like in the attempt when I get the setup that I want, I'm actually that I think I want, I'm actually performing worse than I do against like a Sicilian setup or something where I feel like, oh, this isn't what I want. I'm like, actually you do better against the Sicilian. You do worse when you get exactly what you think you want, right? And it's like that was like mind blowing to me, right? So like I would definitely encourage people to like be open to like analyzing their data because you might be shocked at what you find.
Yeah, it's gonna disprove your beliefs.
Hmm.
It's gonna hurt your feelings, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it's gonna pop your bubble, and or it's gonna, let's say, support your beliefs, right?
Right.
What you're thinking, and like, we all need like reality, right? Data is reality. I
Hmm.
mean, you need context to figure it out, add to it as well. But it's like, well, like if you think you're doing one, so I'll give you an example of me personally, right? Like for some reason, like my last like 10 of 13 submission wins in competition, I was getting it from close guard.
Yeah.
And like I was like, huh, like why? Like I'm not like a guard puller. I like to wrestle.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and I started thinking, well, how am I getting there, right? I mean, am I getting swept? Am I just like, weirdly rolling? I'm just on bottom. And that's good to know. So it's like, hey, like a lot of like my most of my my recent finishes been armbar triangle, something from close guard. Let's explore that more in the training room.
Yeah.
Let's tighten that up, or let's switch to something else. Maybe I'm relying too much on that and it's not working, or it won't always work, right? Because
Hmm.
like, your best move isn't going to work against everybody. Then what
Yeah.
are you going to do then, right? If you're not improving other things,
Yeah, for sure.
working other things.
Yeah, but you're able to like explore those paths more intelligently, right? And it's like the data may not reveal that, like you said, like your bubble might get burst a little bit, right? And you'd be totally like unaware of these things if you don't like take the time to like actually look into what's happening.
Absolutely, right. And it's just like, man, I'd rather like, tell me an ugly truth than a beautiful lie. I was like, and I think that's what data does,
Yeah.
right?
No, absolutely, and like that's I feel like people that are serious about improvement are like in any domain, right? Are very diligent about like seeking out like the truth about what's going on and like going towards that, like Hodger Gracie talks about that all the time, right? It's like you want to get good, you want to be a world champion, like go to the spots where you're terrible. You know what I mean? Like you have to know where your relative strengths and weaknesses are.
Yeah, and like a lot of people know, right? Like you can know, you don't need data to say like, man, I always get choked out from the back.
Yeah.
Like that's like, that, right? But
Mhm.
data helps too, right? Data can add, data can take away. Um, yeah, no, it's and a lot of things that I've been noticing about like trying to bring data into jiu-jitsu. I don't want to say people aren't in the beginning. At least a lot of people weren't there yet. They were
Yeah.
just like, yeah, whatever, or like not like dismissive or mean about it. It's just like not something, like a lot of people just want to roll and train hard, pull harder, right?
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be the nerds about it,
Yeah, for sure.
like me.
Yeah.
And like you don't need the tough guys. You're going to be the tough guys,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
eventually there's going to be more nerds, and the nerds are going to win, and the community, I think, is going that way. And especially with the PGF, it's everything, like Brandon says, everything you love about sports, but for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
And like the BJJ is going to be, I think, a big driver of bringing data into the world of jiu-jitsu more.
Yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. And I think yeah, I'm looking forward to the PGF next week. Yeah, it's been a great conversation so far. Before we wrap up, I just want to get some of your predictions for next week from the creator of the storylines, Eric. What are you looking at?
Oof. Man, predictions. Um, I don't have like specific match predictions, right? But I am looking forward to some of these matchups.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, Jaden Groner, he has a rematch with Travis Haven. Travis
Mm-hmm.
beat him at ADCC New Jersey, just under 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's his first or second match. He also is going against Austin Arande.
Yeah.
I think his second match, and then I think he's going to finish up the night with Sean Melanson. And Sean Melanson, we haven't
That's a
seen him in.
tough. That's a
We haven't.
murderer's
He
row.
hasn't. Yeah, it is, and Haven has Murderers Row as well. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of interesting matchups. How they're going to go? Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I can't really say. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to that matchup. We get Jet Thompson and Elijah Carlton again.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Block B. Yeah, I just gonna think. Oh, and there's been like some pushback about some of the data that I've been putting out there, which I totally welcome it. Not gonna hurt my feelings. But I think like this season, just because there's been 169 matches just for season 2026 season qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
Just the qualifiers already have a higher finish rate and a higher break rate than most of the previous seasons.
Right.
So, in my opinion, like the most recent qualifiers, it's gonna be a good indication of what's to come. So, my overall prediction for the season is we're gonna see a lot of breaks.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna see a lot of draws.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very little.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's these guys that are creating the qualifier data, and that are winning, that are getting all these breaks. I mean, we've seen what their mindset's like. We've seen the way they've been approaching the competition, right? And we saw Jaden in Philly just absolutely going after subs like from the jump, right? So like I think it's probably fair to say that yeah, that we're gonna see a lot of subs. A lot of,
Yeah,
and just that mindset, right? Of guys are really throwing caution to the wind and getting after it.
my prediction, he's going to be rookie of the season or rookie of if they're having that, he's going to be top candidate for rookie of the season or yeah, I think I'm saying that right. Sorry.
Yeah, 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 for
Yeah,
sure.
he's yeah, I think he's going to win that, and then it's also going to be very interesting. It's just like everyone's so good,
Hmm.
so it's just like I kind of just want to throw data out the window and just like we just got to see.
Yeah, we got it. We definitely do, right? And I mean,
Yeah,
that's the cool thing. Cool thing with the PGF too is like you're culling the best talent from these pools, right? So we see how they do in the sort of like local pools, but then it's time to put the baddest guys together in a room and see who's the best.
yeah. Do you guys have any prediction? What are you guys doing for the PGF this season?
We're gonna be there, man. We're gonna be there in Vegas, weather allowing. We were supposed to be there for the draft, but yeah, we're gonna be there. We're gonna be supporting. I mean, Austin Arunde is one of our sponsored athletes, so we're definitely gonna be cheering for him. And I think I mean, he's obviously creme de la creme. He's an elite athlete. I think he's gonna do really well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I'll definitely be there week one. And I'll try to be there at least one more week before the playoffs, and I'll definitely plan to be there for the actual playoffs.
Awesome, man. We will see you there. Before we wrap, anything you want to plug? Like people can definitely check you out the Substats Instagram. We'll link that in the bio. Anything else you want to promote?
Yeah, Substats .app's a website. I do have I am going to be grappler cards. I made them for the franchise players,
Hmm.
and I will be those will be available soon for purchase. So,
Oh, that's
uh,
cool, man. Like a base, like a literal like
yeah,
physical card. Like,
physical cards going to be next steps. Got all the automation done for it. Just still doing some testing. Just got to finish getting my Stripe account set up. But yeah, they'll be available Pretty soon it's gonna be. I have a one of the visions I want to do is I want to do like roast cards. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's say you like my friend gets me a card and he puts wrestling 0, grappling
Oh
0,
yeah.
negative gas tank. I just think that would be
Negative
funny.
gas. Yeah. Yeah, dude.
And so
Great way to
yeah,
learn
that'll
about
be
yourself.
yeah, so that'll be out soon. And yeah, no, a grappler portal, it's available on Substats app. It's like 14 days to try out, free trial, analyze at least 4 of your matches to get like a good baseline, and we'll take it from there. Definitely, yeah.
Awesome, bro. Well, thank you so much for being on the pod, guys. Make sure you check out
Thanks for having me,
what Abe's doing, and tune in for PGF next week.
sir.
Cool. Thank you so much for watching. To check out Abe's analysis of the upcoming PGF playoffs, click the link in the description. As always, we'd love to hear any feedback you may have about the app. If you leave a comment or reach out to us on Instagram, we'd absolutely love to hear from you.